Hey guys, what's up? It's Darkmech here, and I'm back with a video today where I'm actually going to talk to you. Big wow. So today I'm going to cover off a few things. I'm going to talk about what I've been doing and how I'm finding Legion at the moment. I'm going to talk about the artifact knowledge nerf from 50 to 40 and how I feel about that. I'm going to talk about the new legendaries that we're going to be seeing. Well, you won't actually see many of them, but if you're lucky, you'll see a few. 46 new legendaries being added in 7.2.5, so I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to give you a rundown on what you can expect to see. I'm going to talk about the artifact challenge, and lastly, I am going to just give my thoughts on Legion at the moment and where I have been and what I've been doing. So to start this one off, I'm going to start with the artifact knowledge one, as it has made a pretty big dent in the Warcraft forums and that over the last few days. So artifact knowledge, if you didn't know, has been nerfed from its final cap level of 50 at the moment back down to 40. Now, when I found out this news, I was torn, and the reason I think I was torn before I looked at all the information was that at the moment in Legion, I have been playing a few alts, trying to get my Brewmaster up, trying to get my Vengeance Demon Hunter up to have a go at the Artifact Challenge and things like that. So in my head straight away, I was like, Artifact Knowledge 50 would have made this extremely easy to continue to gear up alts and bring their artifact weapons up to speed extremely quickly. Now it won't be. So that was my straight off the bat thought, and that's obviously from what I've been doing in game. As I thought about it more and looked into this more and talked to people more, it's actually not such a bad thing. So the big thing with Artifact 50 to 40 means that normal people with normal jobs and normal play styles, rather than the people that sit at home and play for 15 hours a day, we're not as fucked now, because there's not going to be as many points going into Concordance of the Legion Fall and making that gap between people with no lives and people with lives a real thing in game. So Concordance has actually been hotfixed this morning, so I'm going to cover that as well. So Concordance has had its chance to activate slightly increased. It now grants 4,000 strength, agility, intellect, or versatility at rank 1. So it was 2,000, it's now gone to 4,000. Additional ranks every point in Concordance after that rank 1 increases the value by 300 up from 200. And effects are now reduced in PvP by 50%. So developers have said while additional ranks of Concordance of the Legion Fall are intended to have a low impact, the trait was overall weaker than it needed to be. With these changes, it provides a stronger upfront benefit with very slightly more value for artifact power spent past the first rank. So that was the big concern with Artifact level 50, I suppose. Now, even with Artifact Knowledge level 50, you were never going to make cap on Concordance of the Legion Fall. It was just too fucking ridiculous. With 40, you most certainly are not. And the sort of talk going around was once you got rank 1 of Concordance of the Legion Fall, with the points when it was 200 and even probably still at 300, it's really not worth chasing more points in Concordance of the Legion Fall. So this artifact knowledge nerf to 40 just makes it better for normal people playing the game. As I said, from an alt perspective, I was really annoyed, but the trade-off is probably better in the long term for mains and things like that. Legion at the start was extremely un-alt friendly, and un-alt friendly isn't a word. It wasn't alt friendly at all. That makes sense. However, as Legion's gone on, your gateway to gearing up your alts and viably getting them up to speed really quickly has become a real thing with artifact knowledge. So that was my big thing with it, but the Concordance gap, it probably actually works out better being this way. Blizzard really got themselves into a mess with the artifact grind and what Legion's become, and I think they're sort of trying to make like Homer Simpson now, and we'll just have to dig our way out sort of thing. There was a post by a Blue yesterday, which is on the screen now, where they said they wanted players to have a solid stopping point for artifact knowledge research, at which point they would have more freedom to focus on their alts. To that end, the item artifact research compendium is being changed to grant artifact knowledge level 40 instead of 35 now. So this means that players who have reached artifact knowledge 40 can go and buy the compendium, send it to a alt that is level 110. That's when they can learn it, and that means that you can bring your alts up to speed. And artifact knowledge 40 will still get your alts up to speed really quickly. Obviously not as much as 50, but it's still going to be really fucking fast if you're starting off fresh. So interested to hear your thoughts on this one. As I said, my first initial thought was like, motherfucker. Then when I sort of started going through the information and having a look, it's really not such a bad thing. And let's face it, we're not even at the end of Legion yet. 7.3 Argus will come out, and there probably will be new artifact knowledge. That'll come with that anyway, or I'll be very interested to see what actually happens with that anyway. So, interested to hear your thoughts on that one, guys. Moving on now to the 46 new legendaries that you will see coming in patch 7.2.5. So we have new legendary talent rings, which is really kind of merging Diablo and Warcraft together at the moment, it sort of feels, but we have these talent rings coming in. So there'll be one ring for each class that will mold with each spec it appears. So you'll get your one class ring when you eventually get it, and whether that's the end of a class hall reward or how, I'm not actually sure how they're obtained yet, and I haven't done a lot of digging into that. So if you know, please let me know, but I think they may be a class hall reward at the end. But basically, when you get your ring, when you're finally lucky enough to get your ring, as you switch specs, the ring will change whatever talent goes with. And some specs, some classes, have the same talent no matter what spec they're in, but I will go through them quickly now, and I'll try not to be sort of too long with it, but when I go through your class, you'll know what your talent does anyway, so I'm not going to read over them. But Death Knights. So Death Knights are getting, the ring is called the Soul of the Death Lord, so Blood will pick up Foul Bulwark as a talent from having this ring, which means we'll finally get that feeling of having Rune Tap as a baseline sort of thing again. Frost gain Gathering Storm. Unholy gain Bursting Sores. Demon Hunter's legendary ring is called the Soul of the Slayer. The Havoc will get First Blood, and Vengeance will get Fallout. Druids, you poor bastards, your ring is called Soul of the Archdruid, and you all get the same, you all get Soul of the Forest. Hunter's ring is called Soul of the Huntmaster. Beast Mastery gets Bestial Fury. Marksmanship gets Lock and Load. And Jai, my good friend who loves playing a survival hunter, will get Serpent Sting. Mages, your ring is called Soul of the Archmage. Arcane gets Temporal Flux or Temporal Flux. Fire get Flame On, and Frost get Frozen Touch. Monks, your ring is called the Soul of the Grand Master. Brewmasters will get Mystic Vitality. Mistweavers will get Mist Wrap, and Windwalkers will get Chi Orbit or Chi Orbit. Paladins, your ring is called the Soul of the High Lord. Holy will get Divine Purpose. Protection get Holy Shield, and Retribution get Divine Purpose. Priests, your ring is called the Soul of the High Priest. Discipline get Twist of Fate. Holy get Surge of Light, and Shadow will end up with Twist of Fate. Rogues, all three specs gain the Vigor talent, and your ring is called the Soul of the Shadowblade. Shamans get the ring called the Soul of the Farseer. Elemental get Echo of the Elements. Enhancement get Tempest, and Restoration will get Echo of the Elements. Warlocks, the ring is called the Soul of the Netherlord. Affliction get Death's Embrace. Demonology get Grimoire of Synergy, and Destruction get Eradication. And lastly, Warriors, your ring is the Soul of the Battlelord. Arms will pick up Deadly Calm, Fury will pick up Massacre, and Protection will get Vengeance. So there are also a whole bunch of other new legendaries being added that I'm not going to read over all what they do, but again, you can see them on the screen here. Various other items for various slots across the classes are being added. There is a link in the description if you want to go and have a look at these, but it certainly looks like we have a lot of new orange items coming our way. In regards to what the legendary cap is going to go to, whether it's going to be still 2 and the class ring, I am not too sure yet either. So if you have any more info on that I haven't really dug into this too far, but if you do have any more info, please do leave it in the description. I'll make an annotation in the comments, and I'll make an annotation or add it into the description as well for people looking at this. So that's it for the new legendaries that have been added, guys. Now what I want to talk about next is the artifact challenge. So I got a couple of images on the screen at the moment, and this is from a few days ago, but it's the armory stats for the artifact challenge appearances across EU and the US. So it pretty much, it's hard to know how accurate these are. As they've said, they don't have a good way to know if the character has the challenge appearance unlocked unless they actually have it equipped. So people could have them and just not have them equipped. It's from 4.5 million level 110 characters, as I mentioned from last month, across US and EU. And you can see the numbers are actually still fairly low. Like, I look at that blood one below 1% and it makes me feel really fucking cool about myself. I feel like a real special snowflake. But I think these are really good numbers. Like, I'm really happy to see this because it means it's a challenge. It means, You know, some people are really banging their face into it. Other people are just like, fuck it, I'm going to wait for Argus, or I'm going to wait for Tomb of Sargeras. So I'm really interested to hear how people are feeling about the Artifact Challenge. The other sort of picture that I wanted to talk about on here is the item level average. So you can see here there's some real variations in item levels, but they're all sort of, the majority are around the 9-10 mark. But you know, that doesn't mean that you are completely locked out of doing your Artifact Challenge. You know, sort of realistically, you can still do it at 900 plus, I believe. I did my Blood one at 901. I know there was a Blood DK that did it the other day at 898, and that's the lowest I've seen. Until then, my 901 was actually the lowest I'd come across. But this guy doing it at 898 was really impressive. Using the heirloom trinket that's come out lately. So if you didn't know, at the end of WoD there was heirloom trinkets that dropped in the mythic dungeons, which give a 10% damage boost against demons, and they are ridiculously fucking OP in the tank challenge. So if you haven't been using that, highly suggest if you've got it that you start using it. But really interesting data there. So with the challenge, the Artifact Challenge Tower, what I sort of wanted to talk about, and I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this one. I would much rather have seen these be like a set item level or a scaled, sort of like a scaled scenario, much like Proving Grounds. And over time, they just nerf, you know, boss damage or boss health or something like that, rather than make it such a sort of a steep incline in regards to getting easier and easier with the more gear you get. From the tank perspective one, I think it'll be a real fucking joke at around 920, 930 item level. I think it'll be a real fucking joke. And I don't mean that in I'm a fucking special snowflake floggernaut that's completed it. I just think it's great in the fact that it's a challenge. It's certainly hard at the moment. And, you know, with each patch, if they just nerfed, say, incoming damage, boss health by 5% or something like that, it would still give people a key way into getting it, rather than this come back 30 item levels higher and you're able to kill everything before any real mechanic sort of happens. But I'm interested to hear what people think about that. Would you have rather it been scaled like that, or are you happy to just wait, come back with the gear and sort of be able to not face roll, but you know, really sort of push your way through gear-wise rather than having to bang your face into the keyboard over and over. So interested to hear your thoughts on that one. So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover today, guys. I'd like to finish my little sort of story session with what I've been doing and how I'm finding Legion at the moment. I haven't been making a hell of a lot of videos at the moment, and that's honestly because I just don't know what the fuck to make anything about at the moment. Legion, the best way I can describe Legion for me at the moment is it feels like a treadmill. See that world quest? It's gonna come back. See that dungeon? It's gonna come back. See that artifact grind? It's gonna come back around. And that's how it really feels at the moment. Unless, you know, I'm reading MMO Champ every day and I'm making a video that says, oh my god, guys, they did this. I don't know what the fuck there is to make a video about at the moment. That's why I'm so excited about the artifact challenges, because I can do them on the classes and I can make guides for them, and that's something sort of worthwhile, I feel, to contribute to the community versus just reading MMO Champ and just reading the news on Wowhead to you guys in video format. I think Blizzard, you know, Legion's amazing, but it's been a real double-edged sword with it, you know. They did a fantastic job in keeping 5-man content current as a gear path progression way and things like that, but the problem is it's that treadmill. It's all still the same, and I know every MMO, in a sense, is that treadmill. Like, you know, we gear up, we go through content, new stuff comes out, it all resets, you know. It's that paradigm shift back to zero, and we go all the way back again. However, you know, in, say, vanilla, if we draw on a cultural fanboy status, there was real pride in having a sword, an axe, a helm, a trinket. You know, there was real pride in gear. With Titan Forging, with War Forging, and the way Legion sort of worked, it's really killed that part of the game. Well, for me, it has anyway. So the treadmill, I think, gets boring a hell of a lot quicker. But that's just my 2 cents anyway, guys. As always, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts, hear how you're going, hear what you're liking, hear what you're not liking. Let me know what you think about today with stuff that I've gone over, if you have any other opinions or if you have any more information. Would love to hear it. Otherwise, thank you very much for checking out the video, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. It really does help me out. And I'll see you all next time. See you guys.